What's going on? Welcome to Totally Blitz Podcast. We finna break down week one of the NFL for y'all boys. Go down the slate, talk all the games. Go down, like and subscribe, comment your thoughts of week one, your biggest takeaways from week one. And if you have any shit you want to talk that you called that shit, let us know down in the comments. We love to hear that. As always, we're your hosts. I'm Paul, pick a win 'em Contra, and I'm always joined with.
Hey man, it's your favorite dirty bird, Mr. One and O himself, first time since 2017. Kev Water Blessed Boy. Paul, man, I know we got some more important games to get into first, so we're not going to talk about that 24-10 beating we put on the Panthers. Shout out that boy Marcus. I'm going to be on the boxing episode. Not even going to know. I'm praying I don't know either of the fighters either, so I could be like, I hope you don't get beat like the Falcons did the Panthers. You feel me? But NFL Week 1 was interesting. I think this was a week where like usually the excitement goes crazy at 1:00. I feel like 1:00 by halftime, I'm amazed. I'm thanking God football is back. But I feel like this went like a steady
Unless
climb.
you're
1:00.
defense.
Yeah, 1:00 was a lot of defense. Was a lot, especially before halftime. Was a lot of defense. I think some teams figured it out. You had teams that was just on some shit like the 49ers. You don't know what they were going through, what they went through this summer because they came back. They came back hungry.
CMC first touch.
That's crazy, motherfucking. Then you got 4:00 and you got games like the Eagles, Patriots, the Dolphins, Chargers, thriller. My pick for game of the week, but we'll get into those later. Oh man, that shit was a thriller, Pablo. I ain't gonna lie to you, kid. That shit was fire. And then you go up and then you go watch this. If you watch the MMA episode, you heard me use the word decimated. And that's my new word for the week. You feel me? Decimated. We watched the Cowboys utterly decimate the Giants. I couldn't even tell the Giants were a playoff team last year the way they fucked them up. And it was crazy that Kadarius Toney tweeted out, man, 40-0. I needed that. It helped me feel better. 40-0. I was like, wow, dangerous. And then you get right there, and then we peak it at the Jets versus the motherfucking Bills. And if you're asking me what game we should start off with first, I'm just saying, them your dogs.
We can start off with them just because like that is where everyone's talking. It's the biggest talking point from week one, and it's not anything. No one's talking about how Zach Wilson beat the Bills and Josh Allen had 4 turnovers in the game. Mr. Athletic
consequence. I didn't even know Zach Wilson played. Like I know he played, but I definitely wouldn't have gave him no one. Like I just kept seeing other people make plays, and like I just did not see Zach Wilson. I'm not gonna lie to you, but we can get into that in a second. So he just gonna start calling my dog the athletic Carson Wentz for real?
But I've been saying he's without his legs. What is he? A turnover machine, and like it showed. It showed. Like look at him. I don't have the stats in front of me, but he since being drafted, he leads the league in interceptions by like a wide margin. He's always trying to, and it's not even like the interceptions or jump balls. It was him throwing it deep on like a 3rd and short where he could have ran and probably got the first down, but then he tries to throw it up to Gabe Davis in triple coverage, and it's way overthrown, and the safety's doing a punt. Both 2 of his interceptions were the safety doing a fucking punt, like, oh, where the ball at? Tracking the punt, catching that bitch because it's way overthrown. The receiver was not even like a good couple yards behind him. And then the other one is just Jordan Whitehead being just reading the play, seeing the out route, jumping the route as soon as it's thrown. And Jordan Whitehead, shout out to him. He already got his incentive for the year, $250K. All he had to need to get was 3 interceptions on the year. He got 3 on Josh Allen week 1. Defensive player of the week.
Insane.
Defensive player of the week, if you ask me, right there.
Oh no, I don't know. He got some competition. Forget about my dog Jesse Bates.
Jesse Bates had 3 though. 3 of them bitches.
What you mean? He had a forced fumble. My nigga hit 2.
He Jesse Bates snap.
Yeah, but we're not gonna get into that yet. We're gonna get. Don't worry, I got a lot to say about that. But I wanna argue with you. I would love to, because you know how I picked the Bills to win this division. But you gotta call a spade, and that's true. The more and more we see Josh Allen, the more and more we realize that Josh Allen It's also the reason why this Bills team isn't motherfucking isn't winning the Super Bowl. Like Josh Allen can be the reason for this team to look great, and he can also be the reason why this team is tripping. And like, I don't just blame it on him. I blame it on the fact that it's been 3 years of supremacy, or 4 or 5 years of supremacy, and they still don't have a running back. I blame it on the fact that the online is straight, they do their thing, but Dawson Knox, he's a straight tight end, but he ain't great.
Well, they
Gabe,
went out and drafted in the first round Dalton Kincaid, and Dalton Kincaid had like four or five catches this game. He actually Dawson Knox was a non-factor this game. It was all Dalton Kincaid.
oh, so Dalton Kincaid. Oh, I gotta look at him. I didn't even hear about Brody. But I just think that there are missing holes on his team. So I don't be wanting to give Josh Allen the whole blame. But that boy do be fucking up. Because eventually I feel like once you get to the second interception to Whitehead, you think maybe I should stop throwing it around him. Like,
You lost to Zach Wilson and the Jets for the second time because they beat you last year. Same squad beat y'all last year. And what's the one thing both these games got in common? Josh Allen has a shitload of turnovers. And what's the one thing that whenever they're rolling, they're rolling. Whenever they're not rolling, it looks like that. And I kind of like someone pointing out, like, take away the uniforms and everything, and let's say that's the Cowboys, and that's Dak Prescott on prime time, losing to Zach Wilson. Everyone's coming for Dak's head. Like, Dak's on the pitchfork. Oh, look at this turnover machine. Cowboys never gonna win with him. Oh, da, da. And like Josh Allen, for some whatever reason, and maybe it's because everyone fucks with the Bills because they're jumping through tables and they be throwing dildos on the field. Maybe
Bills Mafia.
Bills Mafia be saving them.
Bills, yeah, the Bills have no dildos in the building from what we know, but the Bills
Yeah,
Mafia keep them
Bills
facing.
Mafia. That's like they might save them right now, but if you take away everything, if that's a different quarterback doing that, everyone's coming for their head. He's costing them games, da, da, da. And
Mm-hmm.
the difference is you can say the playoff wins for the Bills. The Bills have won playoff games. They went to the champ, all that stuff. But it's just that's what Josh Allen is. I've always seen him make turnovers, and it's because I watched him twice a year at least before the podcast and everything, just playing the Dolphins, and he has great talent. It's very similar to the Cowboys. The Bills may be the AFC version of the Cowboys, where it's when the high is high, it's like holy shit, who's stopping this team? And we'll get into that how they blew out the fucking Giants. But when the low is low, you're sitting here like, oh, this team is never going to win a Super Bowl.
No, that's facts, man. But we're gonna get. I had to let Paul get his Josh Allen rant out. Now, let's talk this motherfucking game. You feel me? So, Paul, this game was lit for the wrong reasons. On the fourth snap, 1 minute into the game, our favorite former MVP, Aaron Rodgers, former four-time MVP, Aaron Rodgers, gets hurt and is out for the rest of the game. We come to find out this afternoon that he tore his Achilles and will be out for the season. Fuck.
That was the during the game. The biggest speculation was torn Achilles, and it all came true. But everyone was saying, "What the fuck are they gonna do if he tears his Achilles?" And it happened.
You gotta figure it out. The football god said, "Yeah, fuck you. Y'all niggas is not. You should have went. You could have went anywhere except New York, and that's not good. But we're gonna pray for him to have a speedy recovery." But Zach Wilson comes in the game, and this is the reason why I say I didn't know that Zach Wilson was playing, because that touchdown that Garrett Wilson scored was awe-inspiring. I was watching that shit like, no way they just did that,
One hand,
and it bopped it a
one
few
hand.
like around. Yeah, that shit was crazy. And then shout
Over
out, it
seven
goes
and a half touchdowns is still alive.
back, and the game goes into overtime. And this man, Xavier Gibson, that's his name, right? Xavier
Yeah,
Gibson. They pulled up the Hard Knocks clip. He was one of the last people to get signed. He barely
it was
made the
almost out of
53.
there.
Barely made the 53. Robert Saleh played it off on his ass like they was going to send him out of there. And this motherfucker gets that punt and takes it all the way back. And I shit you not, I almost dropped my piece because I was like, yo, I thought I'd never seen it before, but I was like, nah, what's it called? Deshaun Jackson did do that against the Giants, but that wasn't in overtime. That was regulation. This nigga threw it back, ran it back in OT in front of everybody and called game. That was the hardest way to end a week one I've ever seen.
Yeah, no, I mean, defense, special teams, still super elite for the fucking Jets. Aaron Rodgers being out, they've been talking about Gardner Minshew, Carson Wentz, fucking Phillip Rivers, Tom Brady. They're going down the list of quarterbacks that they might go out and get. And I think it's only smart if Carson Wentz to
First
me.
said Phillip Rivers. I'm shook.
Yeah, to me, I think Carson Wentz the smart play. If you're willing to send a draft pick or something, go get Gardner Minshew off the Colts. But if you really, I mean, they put all their eggs into the basket this year. So they really do have to go out and get somebody because they know Zach Wilson isn't going to take him to the promised land. And maybe, and it also hurts the Packers. Packers needed him to, Aaron Rodgers to play 70% of the snaps for them to get the first round pick. He isn't playing. They're going to get the second round pick now. So, but also people forget Aaron Rodgers restructured his contract. So this year he's making pennies on the dollar compared to next year where he's making 100 million damn near because he moved most of his money to next year so they can go out and sign everybody. So even though he's hurt this year, yes, I had him as a Super Bowl favorite. Now that he's not around, the other team, I said the two teams battling for Super Bowl favorite in the AFC was the Jets and the Dolphins. And I feel so good now. Like, okay, I can ride my team. But no Aaron Rodgers this year, maybe it all plays out in their favor because then they'll have him next year when they actually are paying for him, and he comes back. Maybe he retires because that rehab. I have heard torn Achilles rehab is a motherfucker. So
didn't Kobe tear his Achilles?
Yeah, and it's similar time frame too, where it's like on his way out. Like, what are you gonna? It's your choice. Do you want to even Ryan Jensen torn ACL? He's not coming back. He's retiring and he's done. And it's just that time of the year where it's just like, do I want to come back and play for one more year? Eh.
We'll see. I'm not gonna talk. I'm just gonna pray for that boy to get better. But shout out that game. That game was fire. That was a Monday night. That was a Monday night fade. The football gods had to do a couple things to make it close. But shout out the Jets, Bills. You guys got a lit ass division right now. Your entire division had great games. So fuck it. Let's move on to the next one. We're about to hit the 15-minute mark. But Paul, before we go any further, we talked Monday night. How did we do on the stats on the picks overall?
So real quick before we move into the actual week and Kev gets his favorite games of the week, I'm gonna say on our overall record, Kev won the week. He went 8-6 to my 6-8. Locks, I was 1-1 to Kev's 0-2. I had the Eagles, Broncos. You had Vikings, Bengals.
Tragic.
Then on the dogs, I'm 1-0. I had the Dolphins. So you're 0-1. You took Titans.
Tragic.
And then for my betting community, if you follow me on my best bets, I went 4-2. It was a good weekend for my best bets. And props, I went 6-8. I'm gonna hit on some of these props. I didn't go positive. I went overall 10-10. I fit 500, but 6-8, and I'll break down why I'm not upset about this. I mean, I had CD Lamb target like receptions, like that was a blowout. Like there was a couple of games where there was a reason why these probably didn't hit. So I'm not like the science is still there. I'll come back next week.
I love to see it, man. Love to see it. Love to see it. But now on to the rest of the games of the week. And it's crazy. Before we even get into that, it's crazy how I went 0-3 on my locks but I won the week. So you're telling me
you picked winners everywhere else.
I'm just not a bettor. That's why I be telling people all the time. They be like, "Damn, bro, you know a lot about betting." I don't. I don't. My co-host tells me everything, and I got to be able to speak his language. But on to the next game. So you know where we going. You got the hat. You got the jersey. Mike McDaniels got the drip. Like, you feel me? It's these motherfucking Dolphins.
I told you.
I'm not going to lie to you, Paul. I was talking shit. I was like, bro, these Dolphins, Big Fangio gonna save our lives. What the fuck? First half, I was talking shit. I ain't gonna lie. I was talking crazy. I ain't put enough respect on y'all name. I wouldn't say your defense is the greatest, but it does make plays when they need the plays to be made, especially that last fourth down when Jalen Phillips and Christian Wilkins got the sack on Justin Herbert to call game.
Needed that.
But your Dolphins, what was the score?
36-34.
In a barn burner. I'm talking. I'm gonna let you say the stats.
Fun fact. Dolphins didn't have the lead until that touchdown at the very end. That was
I was watching.
The Dolphins took the lead, but I mean, Tua. I mean, I've been banging the drum on Tua is him and speed kills and who's gonna. If y'all go back and watch episode 0 from way back, the very first episode we ever dropped on Totally Blaze podcast, you would see that we had our sleeper picks, I said it's gonna be our team and why. The speed kills. Like Jalen Waddle was a dog. Like who's gonna stop that? This was before the Tyreek train. Then we added Tyreek, and then who's stopping this offense right now? Tyreek put a 215 yards. Tua puts up 466 yards. And there was maybe 2 bad passes, I think, the whole game. And great passes, a whole bunch of them. We're talking about the fade route in a bucket.
That was insanely accurate.
Then we're talking about 3rd and long. Tua breaks out of pocket because it's the line collapse, hits the comeback route on the outside to get the first down, to keep that drive alive. Like there was just multiple passes then there was one where he moves up the pocket and throws it, and it's Tyreek and seam 40-yard game. This man was averaging like 17th yards per depth the target. I mean, that's damn near 20 yards every time they complete a pass. They like this offense. I don't want to say best offense in the league, but I'm gonna say best offense in the league. Like the run game, we don't need it. We don't fucking need it. All right, we'll just give the ball here and there, but who's stopping our wide receivers right now? Like this, barring injuries, nothing stopping this offense. Defensive wise, Vic Fangio didn't save nothing. Shout out to the Chargers. They put up like 230 yards on like 40 carries. They went away from the run game and tried to turn it into a shootout with us. Justin Herbert ain't built for the big leagues, baby. All right, Tua's in the stratosphere of his own. If Austin Eckler and them boys are averaging like 8 yards per carry, and there was nothing our defense could do to stop the run game, which is very disappointing on my end for being someone that's hyping up Vic Fangio on them. So defensive wise, I think this team is great offensively. Defensively, I think we will be losing some games here and there because we just can't. We're looking like the Chiefs.
Yeah, I respect it. I think you guys looked really, really great this week. I think it's the same old Chargers. I think that's something that I'll never understand. So Chargers can have so many great like individual players on defense, and they have a defensive-minded head coach in Brandon Staley. But that defense just lets people score. They just give up big plays. Like it's crazy. You got J.C. Jackson, Sante Samuel Jr. What is it? Joey Bosa.
Joey Bosa.
You got hitters. You got genuine all pros. Like, I mean, maybe not Sante Samuel Jr., but like you got pros and hitters, right? All pros and hitters. But motherfucking, they just give up points. It's crazy. And that's how I kind of looked at this game. I felt like there was never really a point where the Dolphins said, we can't do this. Like there was never a point where they was like, I don't think we got this. I don't know if we're built. There was really on some Bengals Joe Burrow moxie type shit. Like there was never the chance for the Dolphins thought they were down and out, or they was like, oh, we're gonna lose this game. Now it's just like, no, let's keep putting it on them. Tua going crazy. And my only thing is, I would be saying the exact same things as you, but I do think this Chargers defense isn't lackluster, but it does give up a lot of points. But my thing about it was Tua looked awesome, and he did he did hit a lot of things on the money. But I want to see what Mike McDaniels continues to show, like, continue on. Because, like, this is going to be great for the first 4 weeks, probably 6. But there's going to be a point in time where they need to adjust. And I think Mike McDaniels showed in the playoffs last year you guys can adjust really well because you look good with Teddy Bridgewater at quarterback. You looked good with Skylar Thompson at quarterback. So he can adjust well. I want to see how he adjusts when people start thinking like, all right, we got to isolate the cheetah. We can't allow this to just happen every game.
And that's when Jalen Waddle gets his 10 catches for like
Definitely. But that's the thing. Can you like what are these adjustments that you are you gonna turn Jalen Waddle back into that monster that he is?
hey, 2,000 yards, Tyreek Hill. Just book it now.
I mean, what's two on track for? 7,000 yards? Book
7K.
it.
Yeah, book
Book
it.
it.
Book it. Then did you have a third game for your game of the weeks?
So this is when things get interesting, right? So we gotta talk Patriots. We gotta talk Patriots and Eagles. But I don't know if they're my games of the week. I think they were a close game. They were a fun game. But I don't know them. I think the Eagles didn't look that great to me.
No.
So the Eagles didn't look great to me. I don't know if they're not trying to show something. I mean, or did you have to deal with a Bill Belichick that spent the last 5 months, 6 months knowing that playing, getting ready for you, checking everything that you had in the footage. I don't know. I don't really know. How do you feel about this game?
Patriots, Eagles. I mean, the first half, Eagles dominated, and it was because like the interception return, special teams was showing out, getting great returns, but Eagles offense then you could do nothing. Like this was an Eagles offense that wasn't producing points, like to get in great field position and not doing anything with it. And then Mac Jones and the Patriots made adjustments at halftime and came out swinging. And I mean, Mac Jones went off in the second half. And honestly, if you take away that 60, that like 80-yard, like when the Patriots looked bad early and he threw that interception pick six, if that wasn't on the board, Eagles probably not walking out with this game. Which like shout out Eagles for covering my -4, part of my best bets. But this was not the Eagles that went to the Super Bowl. This is not the Eagles that all offseason they were rapping about. Look how locked in Jalen Hurts is. Jalen Hurts was staring in his locker room for 40 minutes after the Super Bowl loss. He takes all the blame. Like this was not the Eagles I expected to come out with a chip on their shoulder. Like we're gonna show the world we're the best team in the league. This was an Eagles team that showed me like, oh, the NFC East may be still up for grabs, and it is like anybody's division. How it is almost every 17 years, yet a repeat winner. All I'm saying.
That's actually pretty crazy. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you fully. I don't know what's going on with the Eagles. I'm gonna just charge it to the Bill Belichick defense. My dog Christian Gonzalez looked good. He was all over the place. I'm gonna charge it to the I'm gonna charge this to the Bill Belichick defense, and we'll see how that goes. But we'll see how they continue to play. And the last game I want to hit, not really the game of the week, but fuck, we gotta talk about this. Cowboys beats the Giants 40-0. And Paul, I feel like they had their starters play the whole game.
I know the Cowboys put in Cooper Rush towards the
Really? I
quarter.
was about to say, because I feel like every time I looked up, because I was on the phone back when it was 32-0. No, Cooper Rush only played through one pass.
As I said, it was the fourth quarter when he went in.
Hell yeah. So yeah, I don't know. But boy, they fucked them up. They literally looked better than them on every single side of the field. There wasn't a single part where I was like, oh yeah, them boys know. Special teams killed him. Defense, turnovers, sacks. Motherfuckers are up by like 20, are up by like 28, and Michael Parsons just looking like, I want more. I want more. Motherfucking, they over the Giants. Daniel Jones throwing picks, and it looks just like the one Kadarius Tony dropped and got picked off. Like, this Cowboys team did everything possible to fuck them up, and like because the Giants knocked out the Cowboys in the playoffs last year, right?
No, they knocked the Vikings out and then lost
Why do
seven.
I keep thinking that? But that's what I was thinking. I was like, this had to have been revenge for last year. Had to.
No, I mean, does the defense of the Cowboys is super legit. They showcased why Michael Parsons is the favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year. They showcased why they were top 3 in fantasy leagues and for defenses. and they're just showcasing like everyone likes to put the blame on Dak and everything, but this was a game where it showcased where like we don't need Dak to win games, but also it could be the same old Cowboys because they love to look great in the regular season and always fall off in the end of the season type shit. So we don't want to put too much hype on them yet. But I will say just the defense. You can put all the hype you want on the defense. Special teams look fucking phenomenal as well. And to top it all off, fucking uh uh Michael Parsons went on his little Bleacher Report podcast and gave respect to the Giants, saying that it wasn't Danny Dimes' fault. Like Evan Neal, he didn't want to say it. I want to say Evan Neal, first round draft pick last year, Alabama, top 5 pick last year, offensive line, boom. Got destroyed by the fucking Cowboys last year. Got destroyed again this year after talking about he got way better. He's ready. No, he looks like a bust. Or he looked like a bust last year. He already showcased this year. He doesn't look like a top 5 pick. Man, it's gonna be a long season if Evan Neal doesn't get his shit together. But he did give credit to Danny Dimes, saying like it's not his like when you're a quarterback, if the pocket's collapsing so quick, like there's only so much you can do. The interception is not his fault. Like this is also his second year with the ball. It's not like he had the ball since he's a rookie. He had to learn the system. Like he was just giving it like, oh, like the Giants ain't as bad as people want to say. And I agree with that sentiment. I think the Giants just look terrible, like some other teams we're gonna hit on later. But I think they're a team that's gonna right their wrongs. Come like we they just went up against probably arguably the best defense in the league.
It's funny that you made that point, and I respect that. I don't think the Giants are completely awful. I just think they got fucked up bad. But somebody else made a point similar to that when we was talking about Adesanya versus Strickland because he's Nigerian, and he said, "But here's the thing: a real champion can come back." And I'm like, the real champion can learn from his losses. And I'm like, bro, you've never heard anybody ever say that after a win before. You never ever heard nobody say that or before. You never heard anybody say that before they lose. Like them niggas always say that afterwards. Like, yeah, man, I'm easy, man. And great for you. I hope you do get better off of that. But I'm gonna call a spade, and an ass whooping, an ass whooping. The Giants are handing them bitches out for free. I'm talking turnovers. Who all got turnovers in this game?
Noah Egunabane, former Dolphin, he got the special teams field goal block touchdown.
I forgot about the field goal block.
That's what I was saying. That first drive, the Giants were moving. Like the Giants got into field goal position, and then Graham Gano, worst game of his career, gets the shit blocked. Not really his fault, but then he misses a field goal later on in the game, and that's the reason why they put up nothing.
That boy was hurrying.
Yeah, so we'll see. It's a long season, but this is the perfect time to overreact. It's week 1.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all the games I wanted to cover for facts. Unless you want to talk to 30 bads.
Nah, we'll make it down the list. We got to start knocking out all these games. First one, another ass whooping. Ravens blew out the Texans. Ravens didn't look too good. I'm gonna be honest. Like offensively, they struggled. Lamar had fumble, interception. The Zay Flowers, legitimate dog, wide receiver 1 rookie year looks like. J.K. Dobbins hurt for the year, torn Achilles, I believe. He's out for the season. He just can never stay healthy. Yeah, he can never stay healthy. It's a shame. Great talent, but can just never stay healthy. But Ravens blow out the Texans, no big deal. Texans kind of suck. CJ Stroud looked pretty ass. Whole team looked pretty ass other than the defense. Defense looked great because they definitely gave the Ravens a hard time. Let me see. And then next game down the list, the Browns beat the Bengals 24-3, which is a big one in my opinion, just because we were both on the Bengals here.
Nah, for real.
Browns.
Hey, I'm over here looking crazy with my Joe Burrow's MVP tape, and this motherfucker had like 81 yards.
Yeah, bro. He looked. I mean, whole offense looked terrible. Joe Mixon didn't look too bad, but they didn't give him the ball too much. They kind of like were trying to keep throwing themselves out of it, and it is never fruition. But the Browns defense have owned Joe Burrow in the past, so like all the things are pointing towards the Browns should probably make it competitive and maybe win the game. But I was just so I mean, not even like Deshaun Watson balled out. Deshaun Watson didn't look great either. So it was like the Bengals, the Browns just have their number.
Uh, in the Battle of Ohio, Cleveland, you won.
Yeah, and Jack Cochran is out for the season, torn ACL, MCL for the all pro offensive lineman for the Browns. So like they got a good win, but moving forward, that's a big blow. I mean, Nick Chubb's still gonna be a dog, but like Deshaun Watson, like the blocking ain't gonna be there as much anymore. It's just he already looked pretty rough to start the season. He only gonna look rougher in my opinion.
We
Then
going we gonna close out the division and talk Kenneth Pickinson.
yeah, we can close him out. I mean, that was another ass whooping, 30-3. But I will give him a little credit because there's early in the game where I don't know who it was. It was Bosa. Somebody tackled him and they hit him with the same spin move that Slando on the back of his head, like how Tua was concussed for that game. And I mean, Kenny, from there, Kenny looked terrible. I mean, we do know that Deontay Johnson hammy injury, he's gonna be hurt for a few games. Probably like I think they said 4 to 6 weeks for Deontay Johnson, which is a big blow. But Steelers look pathetic.
I mean, the Steelers, we've always looked at them as a team that can figure their shit out. We don't really know if it's coming the first week. It might not come the second. But as long as they got TJ Watt, they'll be able to figure something out. The 49ers, on the other hand, though, that's the team to beat right now. They probably look the best out of everybody in week one, including the Cowboys. Because that team has on a mission. I was high on Brandon Ayuk coming into the season and Deebo Samuel. My dog Brandon Ayuk goes for 107 yards, 2 touchdowns, scores me 35 fantasy points. So I went to sleep feeling nice at the after Sunday. And that entire team just looked great. The defense was doing things, staying busy on defense, forcing turnovers. Love a team that can force a bunch of turnovers. Offense looking great. Christian McCaffrey, like you said, scored on his first touch. So I'm just saying, man, that team looked fucking awesome. Shout out the 49ers for looking good. I mean, the Steelers defense, they did what they could do. Brock Purdy looked fucking nice in the game. So yeah, the whole 49ers look great. And I think they're coming here with a vengeance. If they continue to play like this all season, because I was talking on a preview about how the 49ers talk. 49ers start a little slower every year. If they continue to play like this all season, I don't see too many people fucking with the 49ers. I'm not going to lie to you.
I mean, we hit on it before the game season started. Like Shanahan, this is the best running back he's ever had. And defensive wise, they only got better. They added Hargreave to that defensive line that already had Nick Bosa. Unfortunately, our boys over there in black and gold had to be the first team to run into him.
Crowded.
Still my pick to win the whole NFC thing. Looking pretty good. Next game on the list, since we closed out that division, let's move on to the next game. This was a big shocker as well. We had the Vikings losing at home to the Buccaneers, where the Bucs defense, hate them or love them, they look fucking phenomenal. I was shitting on them as much as I wanted to, but they forced 2 fumbles, of interception, all before halftime, which really was just, I mean, the Vikings would get yards, and then Kirk was just fucking it up. And normally I would love to say Kirk loves to fuck up this and that, but Vikings at home where is the difference. Like Vikings at home have done really good. It's when they hit the road is when the fuck ups happen. So for the Bucs defense to show up in Minnesota was like, oh shit, like this isn't normal out of the Vikings. This is when they usually look really good.
I mean, congrats to the Bucs. They won week one. Baker Mayfield looked way better than I expected. Mike Evans scored. Shout out the Bucs. I mean, the defense did all right, but Jay Jetta still had 150. So regardless, we was in. They did get some stops, forced a couple turnovers. Couldn't stop my dog Alexander Madison from scoring, but you know what I'm saying? They did their thing. But I think the Bucks just showed heart in this game because this game was really, 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 really fucking close. And they could have lost it at any point. But Baker Mayfield, he did what needed to be done. Did what needed to be done to win. So I will give them that. They did have a little heart, and I respect that.
First half,
Still did though.
the first half, the Bucks did not look good. Defensive wise, great, but couldn't do nothing with it. Second half is, I think, because they got the new offensive coordinator that made Geno look like a baller, and we'll hit on Geno and them later without him. But definitely second half is when they opened the playbook and the Bucks started scoring. And I mean, Mike Evans, there was another pass from Baker that I'm a big Baker hater, but he threw a pass on a fucking streak route, and it was right in Mike Evans' hands. It was a jump ball, and I was like, damn, Baker low key not looking too bad over there.
I mean, yeah, he had a couple of dimes. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna put respect. I'm gonna call a spade a spade. That's
And
gonna be
then,
my saying all season.
well, then we're gonna continue with the NFC South here. We got the Saints beating the Titans. We both took the Titans here, but 16-15. And honestly, it was hard to really took much from this game other than both the like Saints defense looked legit, getting 3 turnovers, but they only scored 16 points with it. Like you're not gonna like if you're only getting 16 points out of your new quarterback in Derek Carr, it probably isn't worth it. Titans, on the other hand, look
Got
terrible.
sacked, and Derek Carr got sacked 4 times.
But the Titans look terrible. I mean, that was probably one of the worst games. I was riding the Tannehill train, like, oh, they got the same team. Nah, like, I don't know what the Derrick Henry didn't cover my prop. D Hop didn't do much, and they were, I mean, turnover after turnover.
I mean, this was just an ugly ass game from two teams that looked really, really rusty. I don't know if they didn't play no preseason. They just did not look ready to go. I mean, I don't really see too much of a ceiling for Ryan Tannehill and them. I think this might be them at their worst, but I also don't think them at their best is too much better than this. I do think the Saints could probably figure this out because their defense looked great. God, they have a new quarterback, 2 new running backs, and Alvin Kamara's out. So I'm not mad at them boys. Chris Olave looked good.
Yeah, he did. That was
Chris
a
Olave
lot.
looked good. So I'm not mad at the Saints. They won the game. Good for them. But it's just two teams that looked rusty. I think over this season we'll see more from them. But you made a great point. Derek Carr didn't look too amazing. Defense, the Titans D line was getting back there. Yeah, the Saints, I don't see them doing too great this season. They continue to play like this.
And then our next NFC South and last NFC South game, we saw the Falcons put on a show against the Panthers, which early was a defensive slugfest. It did open up more in the second half. And J.C. Horn is going to be out for a few weeks. He's got injured in the game. I think he's out for like 4 to 6 weeks.
Now that's tragic. That J.C. Horn injuries be hurtful. They be so
Every
early.
season, too, so far. Rookie season last year and this year. He's not playing a full season. That's something to look at.
We'll see what they do with him because that's going to affect. They're definitely going to talk about that when it's time to pay. But shout out my motherfucking dirty birds. Shout out Jesse Bates, the third. Got 3 turnovers in this game. Arthur Smith,
He's fast.
Arthur Smith, motherfucking coach this bitch like he was supposed to. Got the motherfucking running backs. Tyler Algier, what do you have? 75 yards for 2 touchdowns. Bijan had a touchdown. Motherfucking. So shout out Arthur Smith for coaching his team like it needs to be coached. Defense getting stops when they needed to get stops. Didn't give up too much points. Had Bryce Young really thinking. So I think Jesse Bates just lit a fire under us, and we just was like, all right, let's make it happen. Kyle Pitts getting a big gain over the seams. I mean, I don't think that we're like, I'm not screaming like I'm y'all or something, but I think we did look good this game. there's a lot of improvements we can make, especially when it comes to playing better teams. We don't want to have those holes. But shout out us, man. We look great. I wish I could tell you something great about the Panthers, but like after like that third quarter, it was kind of all Falcons after that.
Yeah, I mean Bryce Young didn't look too hot. The offensive line for the Panthers didn't look great. That they kept getting to Bryce, and like that was the biggest question mark for me was y'all's defensive line. But y'all answered them questions, or maybe the Panthers' offensive line is that bad. But it's gonna be a tough season because the Panthers' defense still look great. Are they constantly gonna be stuck with as a bad offense with a good defense? And this seems to be the tall tale of the Panthers. And then with y'all, I just need to see more of the passing game because defensively, y'all look great. Running game, unstoppable. And I just need to see there's not a lot more. They're saying a little bit more out of Desmond Riddler. And I'm just thinking it was either the Arthur Smith had the matchup and he wanted to run the fucking ball, and we'll see the throwing game, passing game later on when he needs it to be there, or was it just this is gonna be us all season? Because like if that's gonna be all season, I think y'all have a winning record, but it's gonna be hard to win those big games if this is the whole season.
Now we didn't have a winning record last year. It was like 7-9.
Yeah, but I think y'all still my pick for the division. So like I think y'all squeeze out the winning record like this, but then it's like that playoffs is gonna look kind of hard if y'all like if this is the identity. So like if Riddler takes that step, and I just haven't seen it yet. Maybe it's because Arthur Smith knew let's just run the fucking ball 100 fucking times and feed the running backs, and we'll win this game. And we'll show the passing game next game. That's just something I'm gonna be looking towards like as the season progresses.
Mm-hmm. I agree wholeheartedly to that. Because you can adjust to a run game, especially nowadays. But we have receivers. We need to use,
And
we need to utilize them.
Like Bijan, like I said, the greatest prospect out of college football, running back wise, since like AP, and he looked like a wide receiver. Like when he caught that shit and just stopped on a dime and just walked in, I was like, ooh, he's him. He's here. He's now.
Mm-hmm. That's real. Shout out Bijan. That shit did look good as fuck.
Now let's jump over to I think this is the final game of the one. Oh no, we have one more. But second to final, I got the Colts losing to the Jaguars at home, 31-21, and it was in the Colts' grasp.
It really was.
Yeah, like Anthony Richardson was him. He was running the ball, throwing dimes to Pittman. Pittman had a good game. Like they were defensive wise getting stops other stopping everyone other than Calvin Ridley. Then a couple late turnovers, Colts lose the game. Jaguars win it like they should have. But I mean, one thing I take away from this game is Colts are alive, and Anthony Richardson can play football at the NFL level. And me drafting him in almost every one of my fantasy leagues will pay off for me this season.
You and them running quarterbacks.
Yeah, and Anthony Richardson to lead the rookies in passing touchdowns, plus 1,000, looking pretty good right now. He looked the best out of all the quarterbacks the rookie quarterbacks week one.
Okay, you're not lying. I mean, shout out them. I think the Jaguars looked great. Travis Etienne, when he broke, that was a great fucking score. Calvin Ridley, like you said, looked awesome. Trevor Lawrence, I think he didn't do too much. He didn't do too less. He just came out there and won the game. So I look forward to seeing these Colts Jaguars matchups in the future. And then DeForest Buckner, I think he was on crack today. Like he really came out ready to fuck shit up.
Yeah,
so he got the play because he scored, didn't he?
Yeah, he had the big touchdown.
Yeah, so DeForest Buckner scored, and then he got a couple sacks. So that's the motherfucker I'm really putting a lot of respect on right now. If they continue to play like that.
And this was a string of games that I'm gonna hit on as a group. They're all back to back on like I took one team, you took the other, and my team like I felt like it was a big underdog, and I'm sitting there like in the start of the fourth quarter, like Colts got this. Colts got this, and this is where I want to be for the Colts pick. And then it just went away. It just went away. But I mean, it's just showing me that there's life over there in the Colts still. And the Jaguars, I mean, Zay Jones, I mean, everyone's gonna eat. Zay Jones, Calvin Ridley, Evan Ingram, Christian Kirk, Travis Etienne. Like every week's gonna be a different handful of these guys that are gonna eat.
Mm-hmm.
Then the next game that's the same alley where I was there until I wasn't. The Cardinals losing to the Commanders,
Oh, this
eight,
almost made the games of the week.
18-20. And I, as much as I want to bang the drum on how Sam Howell was not him, it just I can't bang that drum when they won the game. Like even though he didn't look great, and he's part of the reason why this game was so close. Cardinals defense definitely showed up. I definitely covered the Cardinals +7. That was a fun ride of the game because I was never in doubt after the Cardinals came out and started was winning the game for most of the game.
Yeah, I mean, I respect it. You don't have to say it. I don't mind saying that Sam Howell is not him. He is not him. From him, by him, not him. You feel me? So when he got that fumble and then they scored in the end zone, I literally screamed the most. I was literally screaming, "You sorry mother trucker!" And I'm pretty sure I picked the. I thought I was really thought the Commanders were gonna blow this. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was like, "There's no way they're gonna let because the Cardinals were winning and Josh Dotson was getting the shit done." I'm over here thinking like, "There's no way the Cardinals are really about to do this," but the Commanders figured their stuff out, got the scores late in the game, and they made it happen. But boy, if they had lost to the Cardinals, I probably would have traded Scary Terry like that same day.
Yeah, if it wasn't for their defense getting the big fumble on Joshua Dobbs in the last couple of seconds to set up the game-winning field goal, and then Dobbs only having like 30 seconds left and they couldn't do anything with it. But like before that big fumble, it was the Cardinals had the ball and were moving down and could have rolled the clock out. And then there's that big fumble happen. Unfortunately, I mean they covered the +7 for my bets, but they didn't get the win. Next game, I was on this team and they actually won it. Packers beating the Bears, but this was the biggest question mark going into the season for a lot of people because MVP Justin Fields, the Bears, how good are they going to be? The Bears showed you that this is the first overall pick last year for a fucking reason. The Bears stunk. As much like Jordan Love looked great, the Packers defense looked great. Dobbs looked like a fucking animal, and this was no Christian Watson Packers wide receiver one. Aaron Jones, 2 tutties. AJ Dillon eating up the gut. Like Packers look phenomenal, but I think it's more on this is the Bears. The Bears just suck. Like the Justin Fields is not a good NFL quarterback, and it's showing. Multiple like fumble, interceptions, multiple mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, I think the media did a really good job at showing all his highlights because you really sit down and think like, oh, none of these led to wins. Like none of them were really seeing really translate into W's. Even though they look good, they're great athletic feats, and I know I can't do it, but none of these really got him the W's. So I don't know what the fuck I was thinking when I picked the Bears second, but the fact that the Bears are probably going to take fourth and the Packers have a chance to win this division is crazy. Because Love looks straight out there. He really looked comfortable. He looks like he's been getting a lot of first team reps. So we'll see him against better competition and a better defense and see what he does with it.
And I gave George Justin Fields the tag. He's two things. He's all flash and all ass. Those are the only two things you get out of him. Maybe there's a flashy play or an ass play, and that's all. And then our last 4 o'clock. Oh no, we had two more 4 o'clock games. But our last two games, we had this was the barn burner. The Raiders beating the Broncos 17-16. Broncos come out and kick an onside kick to start the game. They were this close to getting it, but a legal penalty to touch the ball a half yard too early. Raiders win. Raiders didn't look too great. Broncos didn't look too great. Both teams struggled to put up points. 17-16. Jimmy G leads the Raiders, who everyone thought was dead, to the first win of the season and first in the division because the Chargers, Chiefs, and Broncos all are 0-1. Raiders are sitting 1-0 at the top of the division.
Being on top is lonely at the top.
Who would have thought?
I was about to say I should go check the Falcons. Shit. We should be sitting number one since we beat a division opponent.
Y'all probably are sitting at the top, but like, who would have thought in the week one that the only team in this division would have won that actually won a game was the Raiders?
Not the Walmart family.
I mean, I can't even. I mean, I don't know how much to really take from this game. Russ looked okay. Everyone looked okay. I feel like his all like the defense looked good on both sides, but everyone has looked okay.
Yeah, that's real.
And then our last game to wrap out the in the first week one NFL, Rams beating the Seahawks in Seattle, 30-13. No Cooper Kupp, no worries. Stafford went out there and threw for what 334 yards to a rookie Puka Nuka, Tutu Atwell, Van Jefferson, and Tyler Higbee, and they
He made
just
it work.
he destroyed them, bro. This absolutely obliterated that Seahawks defense. Yes, Devin Witherspoon, top 10 pick corner this year, didn't play, but I mean, still, you had Tyreek Woolen that everyone loves to hype up, and I mean, Geno looked shitty. Shout out to the under 253 passing yards. He only put up 112. Seattle's
Huh.
offense looked terrible, and Seattle's defense looked terrible. You can
No,
say the
that shit
Rams
is
own
tragic.
Rams. McVay does own Carroll, but is it a sign like a red flag, or is it just McVay owns Carroll? Keep it moving.
It's looking like keep it moving because they're doing this to him every time. Maybe not in the same fashion, considering shutting shit down, but just like the Browns continuously to beat Joe Burrow, there's some people just have your number, I guess.
I feel like we weren't people that like to follow the trends as much, but like the trends are trends, and they keep
Right.
fucking hitting.
I think the trends are trends until I bet on them. Like how long was it heads in a row, and then the one year I was like, you know what, I'm a bet. I didn't even bet. The next thing you know, this was the year that it was tails. I was like, it's crazy for the Super Bowl.
Are no heads is heads, and then tails never fails until last year, until we actually made an actual pick on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, real quick before we head out of here, I threw into a group chat biggest takeaways from week one, and this is just the biggest overall message that I got from everyone. One, the Bucks ain't the worst team in the NFL. Two, Patrick Mahomes needs Travis Kelce to turn water to wine.
Facts.
As long as Tua, Waddle, and Tyreek are healthy, they'll be the most electrifying team in the AFC, probably NFL, maybe win the division. Can never count them out for a big play.
I can tell you wrote that one.
That wasn't me. That wasn't me. I just threw the question in the air and let the people talk. This is from the people. Justin Fields is really either a bum or he truly needs to get back in rhythm. The 49ers and Cowboys are elite, and if they stay healthy, are true contenders. Lamar is so mid. Bijan is him. Ridley is him. And the Browns are the best team in the AFC North.
Oh, wow. They were reaching for that one.
That was the last. The last one. You drew the line.
Yeah, they reached on that one. I'm gonna let everything else slide till they did that.
All right. Well, I just wanted to shout out.
Too
I
much
threw the
dip on
question in
you.
there.
Yeah, I'm about to say, got a little too much dip on your chip.
Oh, too much dip on your chip, like Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets.
But my biggest takeaway from week one is that the Falcons are 1-0, and this is our first time since 2017. I keep saying that because I didn't know that until they told me. I was like, it's crazy. My second year of college is when we finally got a motherfucking. We started off the season with a win.
And
So shout out us. Shout out week one. Prayers to Aaron Rodgers and anybody else that got hurt this season, this week. Shout out to fantasy teams. My team won. And guess what? The guy I was playing against had Aaron Rodgers. But ours already busted his ass by 20 beforehand, and I had Garrett Wilson. So regardless, I was gonna score. So shout out everybody that won this week. Is there anything else you want to add for Power for week one?
Tua is him, and y'all, everyone that says otherwise, y'all just don't know ball at this point.
And I respect it. Jesse, but you're the only one I swear that be hating on this nigga. You be hating on him the most around me. But Jesse Bates, no, I'm lying. I was talking to random Dolphin fans and he was hating on him too. Dolphins fans hate Tua more than a lot of people. But Jesse Bates, for me, Jesse Bates is a defensive player of the year, defensive player of the week, Mr. Motherfucking Defense. Put respect on his name. And that's about it, man. This has been week one. It's a vibe. Appreciate you coming and chillaxing with it first for an hour, for an hour. Make sure you're checking out the MMA episodes, the boxing episodes, the preview episodes, the Thursday night episodes. Instagram coming soon. Oh man, we got nothing but love for all y'all. So appreciate y'all and make sure y'all take it easy. But before I forget, I gotta remind you that this has been the Totally Blitz podcast. But more than anything, use a bitch.